Today, we're not dealing in hypotheticals, we're following the data. We will count down from 10 to 1 the U.S. cities where the housing market is in a state of freefall, where sellers are panicking, and where the dream of pandemic-era profits has turned into a nightmare of negative equity. This is the story of the Great Unraveling. 2. The countdown. Epicenters of the crash. Number 10. Denver, Colorado. The altitude sickness. Our countdown begins a mile high in Denver, Colorado, a city whose housing market is suffering from a severe case of altitude sickness. For years, Denver was a magnet for out-of-state buyers, driving prices to levels completely disconnected from local wages. The party was great while it lasted, but now the outside money has dried up and the market is dangerously exposed. The most glaring sign of trouble is a massive surge in homes for sale. Housing inventory in the Denver metro has exploded, with active listings recently up by more than 22% year over year. This flood of supply is giving buyers unprecedented power, and they are using it. Sellers are being forced to slash prices to compete. Today, nearly 28% of all home listings in Denver have had a price reduction, one of the highest rates in the nation. The bidding wars are a distant memory, replaced by desperate negotiations. The market is now in a clear state of correction as the sheer volume of inventory forces a painful realignment with what Denver residents can actually afford. Number 9. Las Vegas, Nevada. The boom turns to bust. In a city built on boom and bust cycles, the housing market is once again following the script. Las Vegas, a city that saw an unprecedented surge of demand during the pandemic, is now seeing an equally dramatic reversal of fortune. The numbers are stark. The supply of available homes has climbed to 4.4 months, a clear signal that the market is rapidly shifting into buyer's territory. This imbalance has been building for months as homes linger on the market far longer, now averaging over 50 days compared to just 39 days last year. The real evidence of the crash is in the price cuts. Nearly 30% of sellers in Las Vegas are cutting their list price to attract a smaller pool of buyers. With its economy heavily reliant on tourism and consumer spending, any slowdown in the broader economy hits Vegas hard. That slowdown is here, and the housing market is feeling the full force of the impact right now.
Number 8. Phoenix, Arizona. Drowning in inventory. We head to the Sun Belt to a city that is practically drowning in housing inventory, Phoenix, Arizona. The sheer number of homes hitting the market is staggering and has created a brutal environment for sellers, pushing it further down our list. Recent data shows that new home listings in Phoenix have surged, sending the total number of active listings to a level not seen in over a decade. One report noted a 27.3% year-over-year jump in housing inventory. Another found a shocking 44% increase in single-family homes for sale compared to the previous year. This flood of supply means buyers are firmly in control. They have more options and immense negotiating power. As a result, a staggering 31% of all home listings in Phoenix have seen price cuts. While the median sales price has stayed somewhat resilient for now, the laws of supply and demand are absolute. With inventory at a 10-year high and still climbing, a significant price correction is not just possible, it's already happening. Number 7. San Francisco, California, the tech wreck. For decades, San Francisco's housing market defied gravity, fueled by an unstoppable tech boom. Today, gravity is reasserting itself with a vengeance. The city is facing one of the steepest and most prolonged price drops in the country, a direct consequence of the tech industry's pivot to remote work. The shift is stunning. The downtown core has been hollowed out, erasing the intense demand that once justified sky-high prices. Zillow forecasts that home values in San Francisco are set to fall by a significant 5.2% by early 2026, one of the worst predictions for any major city. Some data shows the median list price per square foot has already fallen by over 7% in just 1 year. This isn't just a market correction, it's a fundamental reevaluation of the city's value proposition. With tech workers no longer tethered to a physical office, the primary driver of San Francisco's insane real estate values has been permanently weakened. The city that was once the crown jewel of California real estate is now leading the nation in a painful, tech-driven housing market decline. Number 6. Boise, Idaho, the ultimate pandemic boomtown bust. Visuals of beautiful shots of the Boise foothills contrasted with graphics showing extreme price volatility. Narration: perhaps no city in America better represents the sheer mania of the pandemic housing boom and its subsequent collapse than Boise, Idaho. For a brief period, Boise was the most overheated market in the country, with prices skyrocketing as remote workers flooded in. Now the tide has gone out, leaving the market completely exposed. The key issue is that Boise's price explosion was never supported by local wages. It was a market built entirely on an unsustainable wave of outside money. The result? A market in chaos. Over 40% of sellers in Boise have been forced to cut their original asking price, one of the highest rates in the nation. Zillow's forecasts have consistently predicted a decline in Boise home values as the market confronts this reality. Homes are staying on the market longer, and the frenzy is a distant memory. The Boise boom was a classic speculative bubble, and in 2025, that bubble has unequivocally burst, landing it squarely in the middle of our crash list.
Number 5. Austin, Texas, the hangover. Visuals of Austin's modern skyline and vibrant cultural scenes, followed by "for sale" signs in front of new construction. Narration: Austin was the undisputed darling of the pandemic, the it city for tech workers and investors. Today, the city is nursing a severe economic hangover, and its housing market is one of the sickest patients in the country, earning it the number 5 spot. After a mind-bending 60% price surge during the pandemic, the market has done a complete 180. The median listing price in Austin was recently down 7.2% from the previous year, marking 12 consecutive months of year-over-year price drops. But the real damage is seen from the peak. Real estate intelligence firm Parco Labs recently estimates Austin will see the biggest downturn in home prices in the entire country, with values already over 20% down from their peak. The problem is a massive oversupply colliding with dwindling demand. Return-to-office mandates slowed the flood of newcomers, and developers who couldn't build fast enough during the boom are now left with a glut of inventory. Active listings in the Austin metro area recently hit their highest level since at least 2016. The Austin correction has come sooner and more significantly than almost anywhere else in the nation. 1730 to 2500. The Florida catastrophe. Ground zero for the crash. Music shifts to be even more dramatic and urgent. Narration: we've now arrived at the epicenter of the 2025 housing crash, the state of Florida. Here, the situation is so dire, so widespread, that our top 4 spots are all consumed by a statewide crisis. It's a perfect storm of post-pandemic speculative excess, rampant overbuilding, and a crippling insurance meltdown that is unlike anything happening elsewhere in the country. This isn't just a correction. For many, it's a catastrophe. Visuals: beautiful beaches, then split screens of hurricane damage, skyrocketing insurance bills, and neighborhoods flooded with for sale signs. Number 4. Jacksonville, Florida. We begin our tour of the Florida disaster in Jacksonville. Once seen as a stable, affordable market, it's now in full retreat. An incredible 27.5% of all homes for sale in Jacksonville have had their prices slashed as sellers scramble to find buyers. Inventory has piled up, and the market that once had buyers lining up around the block is now defined by desperation and the looming threat of the insurance crisis that plagues the rest of the state. Number 3. Tampa, Florida. Moving across the state, the situation deteriorates further in Tampa. Here, the percentage of listings with price reductions climbs to a staggering 29%. This Sunbelt boomtown is now grappling with the severe consequences of its unsustainable growth. Inventory is climbing, demand is falling, and sellers who thought they had won the real estate lottery are now watching their equity evaporate under the dual pressures of a market correction and soaring insurance costs. Number 2. Cape Coral, Florida. Now we arrive at the heart of the crisis, Southwest Florida. In Cape Coral, the crash is being accelerated by a factor that transcends simple market dynamics, the insurance meltdown. After devastating hurricanes, insurance premiums have tripled, quadrupled, or in some cases have become completely unobtainable. This is a dagger to the heart of the housing market. The numbers show the carnage. Over 28% of home listings in Cape Coral have had their prices cut. But this doesn't capture the full picture of homes that can't even be sold because they are uninsurable. Number 1. Northport, Florida, the epicenter. That brings us to the number 1 spot. The most dangerous and rapidly collapsing housing market in America is Northport, Florida. This area combines all the toxic elements of the Florida crisis into one perfect storm. It was a hotbed of speculative building, it's dangerously exposed to hurricane risk, and its residents are being crushed by the insurance crisis. The data is undeniable. In the Northport, Sarasota area, a jaw-dropping 30% of all home listings have had their prices cut, the highest rate among these distressed Florida cities. The market is drowning in inventory, with some reports showing a year-over-year increase of over 50%. This combination of a bursting speculative bubble and an unprecedented insurance crisis makes Northport the undisputed epicenter of the 2025 housing crash.